we have to talk about what happened last night. Vasyl Lomachenko versus Teófimo López. Now folks, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a huge boxing fan, and what I mean by that is I'm a fan of the sport, but I'm not a die-hard fan, you know, like the same way I am for the MMA world. So I know a lot less going into it, but man, this was one to watch. These are the biggest takeaways, right? You're going in there and this whole mentality was both of these guys. The story was both of them have their father as their head trainer. So it was this beautiful, you know, father and son story going into it, and you've got the brash young guy and Lopez at 23 years old trying to shock the world against the pro, against the veteran, against the guy who's supposedly the pound for pound best in Vasyl Lomachenko. And guys, the lead up to this was all Lomachenko's gonna eat this kid alive. Was all, you know, Lopez's dad was saying all kinds of things like, you know, my son's gonna knock you out and he's gonna do this and do that and all this stuff. And a lot of people were making fun of him because they were saying, yeah, for sure, dude, you're out of your mind. Yeah, you've been drinking a little bit too much. You know, who do you think you are? And Lomachenko's response to that kind of a talk up was like, all right, man, let's see if you can walk the walk. You can talk, but let's see what happens when we step into the ring. Man, so this is what happens, right? Nobody's expecting Lopez to win. The round begins. And man, Vasyl almost didn't even throw a single punch until I want to say the last 60 seconds. The last 60 seconds, maybe last 90 seconds. It was unbelievable. He's just going backwards, doing his thing, his footwork, keeping distance, and Teo was pushing forward. He's pushing forward, he's throwing the jab. Even though he wasn't landing it every single time, he's still keeping distance, and he's saying, hey man, I can touch you. He's distracting him, he's pushing him forward, he's giving him something to think about. So just in terms of pushing forward, aggression, you know, applying the pressure, Lopez walks through with the first round. Now, everybody, including myself, is thinking, all right, Vasyl Lomachenko, he took that round, he's studying his opponent, he's calculating it, totally makes sense. Second round, Lomachenko comes more alive. Now he's throwing back. Now, not only does he, you know, parry and dodge some of Lopez's advances, but he throws back on his own side. He gives him a couple of counter shots, a few very good hooks, a few good uppercuts that were very, very well done. And the second round, I would say, most people would agree, would go to Lomachenko. Now, this is the crazy part. Round 3, 4, 5, all went to Lopez. Guys, this is exactly what happened. Lomachenko continues to do rounds 3, 4, 5 the same way he did round 1. Barely offensive, just back. Now, mind you, he wasn't getting hit cleanly. I don't want to give you this false perception that it was a... Excuse me, sir, we're talking about Lomachenko here. The fight was on fire, get it? That's why they're showing up, because it was a crazy fight. So, as I was saying, Lomas, man, he's not doing anything crazy. He's not getting hit, but he's not, it doesn't look like he's pushing forward. He's not being the aggressor. He's just taking shots. But unlike Floyd Mayweather, he's not taking a shot and then making you pay for it. He's not making you think twice about coming in. He's just allowing all this onslaught. And at first you're thinking, all right, well, you know, he's doing this to calculate Lopez's moves. He wants Lopez to run out of gas, right? We've seen that in the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight. Conor does extremely well, wins a couple of rounds. I don't care what you say, but he won a couple of rounds against arguably the GOAT. But then it gets gassed out, right? Because when you put out that much output, eventually, man, it's going to have its way with your endurance. And Lopez did this so perfectly, guys. If you can only go back and watch the fight, was he would throw a shot. He would throw a shot. And then if you could get Lomachenko in the corner or in just against the ropes, his go-to for throwing combos of 2 or 3 shots were to the body. So he'd be jab, 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 non-stop. And then when Loma gets against the ropes, subconsciously his arms come up. When his arms come up, man, the body's free for the taking. Pop, hooks to the body, uppercuts to the body, straights to the body. Really, really, really well done by Lopez, man. If you want to take a guy out in terms of endurance-wise, you want to hurt the breathing, he was doing an excellent thing. Keep him occupied up top with the jab, throw a right hand just so he respects you, he respects your power. But when he had openings, he really went down to the body, and that threw Loma off. And get this, his output was so perfect in the sense where he'd throw just enough to make Loma work, land one good shot, and then he'd stop. He could have put his foot on the gas, but he didn't. He just did enough so he could land cleanly on Loma without going in there, you know, like a bat out of hell throwing hands. Because then, you know, the more you overreach and you put yourself out there, the more liable you are to getting hit with a counter shot. So he didn't overdo it. And I was so impressed by the mentality of the 23-year-old to throw. He clearly stuck to the game plan. He was composed. He pushed forward the whole time, but he didn't overdo it. You see so many guys go in there and they try to knock the guy out. He went in there, man. He threw 1, 2, got him against the ropes, maybe 1 or 2 shots to the stomach, and then he waited. He never overcommitted, thus saving his gas for the later rounds. Now, guys, we go to round 7. At this point, I'm like, Jesus, man. In the last 6 rounds, Loma's won 1 of them. Like, he's basically, the horrible thing about waiting back and letting the guy gas out is you are giving away rounds, so you better bring it back in. Now, Loma, he came alive round 7, 8, 9, and 10. He started doing a lot better. Many people online would say Loma won those rounds. I myself, I don't think so. I can confidently say that Loma won the 2nd round, for sure. He won the 11th round, for sure. But man, round 7, 8, 9, 10, he definitely did better than beforehand. He definitely came alive. But was it enough to have beaten Lopez? Was it enough for me to say, you know what, man, yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10, I would give those to Loma? Because the scorecards were all over the place afterwards. But anyways, a lot of people might disagree with me. They'll say, no, Daniel, it's a lot closer than you think. And that's fine. That's not a hill I'm willing to die on. We could talk about it. I'm sure you could change my mind, right? Here's the thing. We finished round 11, going to round 12. Nobody's thinking Lopez is going to win this now. Nobody. Like, not a single person. Everyone's like, dude, Lopez has got this in the bag. The only way is if the judges screw him over. And maybe a draw or something. Or if something's going to happen, the only way Loma can win this is by knockout or knockdown. Going to round 12, man. And here's the thing. Lopez's dad tells him, hey, man, you got this. Just box. Just cruise. Just chill. And when round 12 started, this young man, this 23-year-old, marched forward as if he was losing the fight. His mentality, when he could have sat back, he pushed forward as if someone had told him, hey man, you're losing the fight, you have to win this round. He pushes forward, man, him and Loma, it's back and forth, they're throwing shots, he even gets this nasty cut on his eyebrow. Like, if you want to talk about who wants it more in that killer mentality and pushing it when it really matters, you know, those last seconds, man, you cannot praise this young man enough at the age of 23. He gave it to him. And at the very end, it was the result that I think was deserved. It was justified. I haven't heard of anyone go against it. Lopez is the first ever 4-belt champion. 4-belt champion in boxing, having all those bad boys. I'm not even going to try to name all of them for you because I forget, because that's how much knowledge I have in the boxing world. But he has them all at the age of 23 years old. Did he deserve the victory, man? In my opinion, 1000%. You're going to hear people say he deserved the victory. You're going to say, hey, man, it might have been a draw. But I don't think you're going to find anyone saying it was Loma's night, man. It wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. It was brilliantly done by Lopez, really well planned, good executed. This is what happened. He had a good game plan. He was fast. He had power. He had excellent endurance. He showed he can take shots. I mean, he outboxed him. He outboxed him. Matter of fact, that was it. You go back, watch the fight, man. Oh, you know, Loma wasn't ready, or man, he was just waiting. Brother, half the fight is over. We're in round 6. What are you waiting for? You know what I mean? Lomachenko, man, unbelievably amazing fighter. But that night belonged to Mr. Lopez. What did you think? Did you see the fight? If so, man, let me know. Comment, DM, all that good stuff, man. Let me know, what did you think about Lopez versus Lomachenko?